back to Imperfectly Made Crafts. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made the beer stein clock for Zümbier. To start out, several things we need. This here is a wooden circle. They have these in several different sizes. It already has the hanger made on, which is great. It's 15 inches in diameter. I also needed a clock mechanism. This is for use on 3/4 inch thick clock surfaces, and this is just about 3/4 of an inch right here. A ruler, paint and primer in white, just flat white, not glossy because I'm going to use a gloss over the top. And for the black, I'm actually using these both Sharpie and Craft Smart paint pens. I'm much better with a pen than I am with a paintbrush, so I find that the paint pens work really, really well for me. I like these a lot, and they come in different, how fine the point is. I have a white one here too if I have any mistakes. Now the process for coming up for this clock, I knew that Zümbier has a U with an umlaut, and when I was thinking of the U, I was thinking like a Bavarian beer goblet, or I mean, there's several different kinds that would work, and I did a couple mock-ups on the computer just to see maybe what I was thinking about. So a couple different ways to look at it. I was just using that to judge the spacing and things. Then I ended up sketching up a version myself, planning for this all to be in black and the background to be white. Then I cleaned it up a little bit and made it how I wanted it. It had like foam coming down one side. And then I took construction paper and I sketched this onto the construction paper and cut it out. And that gave me this, which I was just laying on the wood itself when I went and did the outline. And I cut out a couple circles for my umlaut, so I have that all ready to go. First and foremost, we have to find the center of this clock face. We need to drill out a hole in the center. First, you're going to be making 3 different pencil lines on here. Try to make them very light. It doesn't matter where you start as long as the lines touch the edge no matter what. I think I'm going to make my lines 12 inches. I'm not going to go the whole way. I have to mark the 6-inch mark because this is a 12-inch line, and then I'm just going to do a straight line across about 1 inch to either side of the center. Next, you're going to be drawing rays in from the outer edges to find where they intersect. The reason I did an extra inch on either side is because I need that ruler to line up perfectly straight with that line that I first found. Ray in. Center has been found. My next task is to take you down to the garage where we are going to be putting a hole right in there. The work surface here is a little makeshift, but it accomplishes the task. As you can see, I have my tiny little dot right there in the center. I am not a power tools expert, and I will not be teaching anyone on this channel how to use power tools. The hole that we want is gonna be, I lost it, 5/16. I will see you when the hole's done. So there is our hole all drilled out. Our next task is paint this white. I'm gonna tuck the string underneath to keep the string from getting painted. And I'm gonna do about 3 or 4 coats, lightly sprayed across to get full coverage. Stick with me. So I've got my Color Max paint and primer here. With every product I use, I always read all the instructions. Highly recommended. My hair will not stay out of the way. I am gonna let that dry. Now, as you can see, you can still see the wood grain through it, through the paint. I'm not as concerned about that, though I'm a little concerned that it's so bumpy looking. I'm not sure why it's coming across that way. I'm gonna give this an hour to dry, and then we will get on to the next step. It has been an hour, and I'm here to check and see how this is dried. Still seeing some bumpies on here, yep. But it looks like they'll come right off of just a little hand brushing, so that's good. Here is our white surface for our clock. And we are now going to focus on getting that border on. This is 15 inches across, and to make a border that was just about 2 inches thick, I knew I needed something else to trace around because that was going to make my life a little easier. And I realized that a vinyl record is exactly the size I need. However, I just realized that I left the vinyl record downstairs, so I'm going to go grab that. I snagged a record from downstairs, a good old-fashioned Glenn Miller one. I am going to place this right over the hole, and a pencil should fit, yep, right down in there. Then I just need to trace a circle around the outer edge. Glenn Miller can go back to the safety of his sleeve. I used construction paper, I cut this guy out, and I made a little dot right at the center because I wanted to line that up with the hole. When I'm placing it, trying to make sure that hole is right over the actual hole. And if you'll notice, because of how wide I made the base, it actually crosses over this line for the circle. Then I'm going to place my umlaut dots, like them even with the outside edge of the glass. Get that straight. Let me see how it looks. Oh, wait a second. I almost messed up. Where's my hanger? Pretty close, actually. Hanger's right there, so I want to make sure this is lined up to go straight up and down with the hanger and still have the hole right at the center. Next task is to trace around my silhouette. Remove those, remove this. So I'm starting in the middle. I'm going to start with the umlauts, actually. I'm going to take one of these. This is an oil-based paint pen. I'll let you take a peek. You do have to shake it up like you do for a can of spray paint. I'm going to start with the umlaut, and I'm just going to trace inside the line. Look back over my work, see if there's any holes to fill. Next, I'm actually going to slide this to the edge of the table and color the sides. Because I want the edges black as well. Today, if I can find my coaster, because I'm not good with coasters, we have Things We Don't Say from Liquid Love Brewing Company. This beer is created to help break the silence around mental health in the craft beer industry. That it's okay to not be okay. I think it's a really important message. They have the suicide prevention hotline, sexual assault hotline, crisis text line, a veterans one, Trevor Project for LGBTQ youth, Trans Lifeline, substance abuse and mental health services to help people find the help they need. The brewery that started it made Things We Don't Say and then sent out the recipe for it to all these other breweries, and the other breweries could take the recipe as it was and make it, or they could redesign it themselves and distribute it that way. Liquid Love and Zümbier both made their own, and I think it's really cool that so many craft breweries came together and are trying to help people be able to say the things we don't say. This one happens to be a double dry hopped IPA. Grab my glass. Got the biggie today. Woo-woo. Why can't I use coasters? Why am I hopeless with coasters? All right, here we go. Gotta get a nice good pour in here for you so you can... I'm glad I moved the clock away because that just sprayed. Here we go. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh, what a pretty pour. Things we don't say, double dry hopped IPA. So nice. You get the great aroma to start, the hop aroma, but the flavor is very, very smooth, gentle. So we're about to add the gloss acrylic coat. According to the instructions, this needs to sit for 2 hours before you can touch. So I'm gonna let it dry, and then we'll get the clock mechanism set on there, and then we'll be completely done. So, cool. Let's take a look at how our gloss finish came out now that it's all dry. All right, looking pretty good. We are down to our very last step here. We are going to be adding the clock mechanism now. First, this comes in from the back. This is what keeps the back from turning around on you. You will want to make this plenty tight. After the hex comes the hour hand. Now I found with the black close to this that it worked a little better if I did the silver side out instead of the black side out, because then you can see the hands. This is the minute hand. Last but not least, the second hand. Now I don't have a choice on the black versus silver on this one because of how it's made. This little peg has to go in the hole there. I suppose I could try to flip it, but I don't think it's worth it. This is a clock in a bar, and honestly, no one's watching the second hand in a bar. You watch a second hand in a waiting room or at work. But at the bar, you don't have to worry about the second hand so much. So I don't mind that it stays black. I think it gives a little more intrigue to the design anyway, so it's kind of fun. Alright, so that sits right on top. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Zümbier clock, and it was really fun. Like, I enjoyed doing it, and the finished project is really cool. Couple things. Next week, the video was going to be So Hopped Brewery in Huntley, Illinois. A brewery that's in a sewing machine factory, actually. I thought that was a really fitting place for us to visit, with me being kind of crafty and stuff. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Yummy. Got a clock. I should probably hang it up. got it. Oh, it fell off onto my skirt. Oh, for fuck's sake. Get the ratchet. I still have to gloss paint that. I put that mechanism on a little too early, didn't I? I do like to have a fair amount of head on the beer because, well, if those bubbles happen in the glass, they're not happening in my stomach later when, you know, afterwards you're all full of air. None of that's going in here. Hey, Chew. What time is it?
Beer time. Always.
Thanks, babe.